Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Avoiding responsibility and shifting blame is a trait of a coward. It's a coward who doesn't want to face responsibility and the consequences after his or her actions. Um, we have here an article where we have a leader of a country who avoids responsibility and makes some claims. But like many of these kind of people, they stop short of bringing to light the entire history of the matter. Therefore, they start at the moment it somehow plays positive or better for him making the point. So this is the case of this gentleman from Finland. And I will read to you what he claimed, and then I will ask a few questions and see if he took those questions and their answers into consideration before he made his claims. So this article comes from Business Insider from May 11th, 2022, and it's authored by Jake Epstein. And this is the title. Finland's president has a message for Russia as it inches closer to joining NATO. And I'm quoting, "You caused this." I'm pretty sure you know exactly what he refers to, but just wait a second. He says here that Finland's president blamed Russia for its war in Ukraine for pushing it closer. No, Finland's president blamed Russia and its war in Ukraine for pushing it closer to joining NATO. The president of Finland, his name is Sauli, from Saul, I guess. Sauli, very Finnish name, Sauli, I think. Nisto spoke with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson in Helsinki on Wednesday. Earlier, the UK signaled new security and defense agreements with Finland and Sweden. Finland's president didn't leave anyone guessing on Wednesday as to who is responsible for pushing the northern European country closer to joining NATO, and that is Russia. He said here that if Finland does join NATO in the near future, his response to Russia would be, "You caused this, look at the mirror." Okay, that's very nice. Then he says here that Niinisto, that's the president, said in late 2022, Russia warned Finland and Sweden against joining NATO and urged the military alliance to close its door to new members. He said by making these demands, Russia assumes Finland doesn't have its own will. So the president, Niinisto, said this realization, along with Russia's February 24 invasion of Ukraine, changed the situation because it suggests that Russia is ready to attack a neighboring country. For us joining NATO will be not against anybody. NATO is not against anybody. It's about we would like to maximize our security, Sauli said. Okay, well. So let's unpack this. He says that Russia's invasion in Ukraine caused this to Finland and Sweden looking to join NATO. Okay, but let's push the history back a little bit. What caused Russia to invade Ukraine? Can we ask this question? No. Because if we keep asking and keep going back, all that will change the perception that we are supposed to have regarding their reason of maybe joining NATO. Because if you ask, okay, why did Russia invade Ukraine? Well, you have to come with some facts. And the fact is that Russia, as Finland, has its own security concerns, as Ukraine as well. And why did Russia have security concerns? Were they threatened by Ukraine? No, because Ukraine could have been defeated in a fair and square fight between Russia and Ukraine. We all know that. That's not a... So it was something else that Russia was, scared of, or, felt threatened by. What was that? Was that alliance, defensive alliance, that Finland wants to join, and that is NATO. Why was Russia concerned with NATO? Was that a reasonable concern, or was just a demanded concern? Let's see. Well, NATO was formed, right, because of the Soviet bloc. Now the Soviet bloc is gone. Then NATO should have been gone. It was a defensive alliance, correct? Yes. Well, they stayed on. Against whom? So now if you put yourself in the shoes of Russia, shouldn't they see that NATO is actually still against? It's not against Romania, right? Not against Bulgaria. It's not against Czech Republic, all these little countries, right? It's obviously against what remains, something that's strong, and took the chance and risks, right? And was the supreme reigned supreme on the planet. Then the Finland president of Finland, thinks that he joins NATO as being a military, a good organization, a defensive, but defend against whom? Against countries that are undemocratic? Well, then let's think about Turkey then. Is that a democratic country? If you say yes, then Russia is a democratic country. Turkey is already in NATO. Then there were some, if you remember, I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to go general. NATO said to the Soviet Union, to the Russians after that, we're not going to expand eastwards towards you. That's undisputed. It was not only verbal. They came with documents where the NATO representatives said that they will not move an inch eastward. Okay. Well, they did. Well, that loses a little bit of trust, right, when you do that. Then if NATO is a defensive alliance, then how about Yugoslavia? Did Yugoslavia attack NATO? No. Did Libya attack NATO? No. Well, these were at least two incidents where NATO forces, NATO intervened. There was not a defensive intervention in either of these states. So I don't know what this president is talking about. Now, if he wants to be with these people, that's fine. But he might be asked to bomb another Yugoslavia. What is he going to do when his country is going to be part of NATO? He's not, I don't think he's stupid. But if you say Russia invaded, why did they invade? Wasn't that because of NATO? Wasn't that because of what happened in Ukraine in 2014? Wasn't that because NATO pushed forward and stopped to Romania and Poland, putting, rockets over there defensive against Iran to deter Iran? Really? I mean, you have to think that this is really what it was. And then the Russians said, oh, let us figure that out. Let us come over there and see for ourselves. And maybe we can help. They didn't allow them. Why? Technology. Like the Russians did not have any like that. Then it was what happened in Ukraine in 2014. Overthrowing of a democratically elected government. I don't see NATO saying anything about that. And then what happened in the east of Ukraine? Who did that? Russia? Or it was the Ukrainian forces from Kiev? And then triggered the Russian reaction. So it's not that simple, Finland. You can just blame like, like a very, but it's more to that. And if I go like this, I would even go far that maybe it was someone else who pushed Russia to act as it acted. Would have happened sooner or later. That's for sure. Because Russia was the enemy of this defensive organization who was pushing forward, and he had two interventions in two countries, not defensive interventions. So the president of Finland is not really using our civilization's logic and fact-based conclusions. So maybe fools the ones with lower IQ than 86, but not us. Well, you don't have to be you don't have to be like this to come and say it's because of you guys, because there are some people with memory who can bring some historical facts. Things are not as simple as he wants to portray them. They're more complicated, more nuanced. It's not democracy versus, tyranny. Even that could be even discussed. Why you call this country as having a democratic system and this one, why this would be tyrannical. But that's a different conversation. It's going to be for another video. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.